So the second question is wrestler I think that's overrated. So I guess the most overrated wrestler in your opinion?
My opinion.
Yeah, your opinion.
My opinion is Switchblade, Jay White.
Wow. Okay. Now, is that because if you flip back on the channel and going into like the Nitros take of Wrestle Kingdom 12, I had stated that it's a cool looking character, but it needs more definition to it. Is that one of the contributing factors?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think he has the coolest theme song, or one of the coolest theme songs. But there's nothing about him yet. And he has a title for no reason. And he's being pushed to the moon with no real gimmick other than he does a little, switchblade motion with his hand.
I think it's coming, but yeah, like it's a character that's kind of in its embryonic stages right now still, and the fact that they got a major belt on him at this point in time is like, well, okay, it's great, but it's one of those things where if he was in NXT, they'd probably wait a couple takeovers before he got a crack at like the NXT, title.
Yeah.
He'd be.
But here it was his third match.
Yeah, he's at NXT North American title status right now, taking nothing away from Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era, but the fact that Adam Cole is the North American champion, almost called the U.S. champion, over there is just so that Undisputed Era group looks more legitimate because they own 3/4 of the belts. If they had a female in the group, the female in the group would probably have the NXT women's belt right now if they got Baszler or something like that, or recruited Baszler. But kind of along the same lines. I was just using that as an example. Yeah. But yeah.
No, I agree. And one of Triple H's sayings is the belt doesn't make the man makes the belt.
Okay.
I think they're trying to do the belt makes the man here.
Okay. Yeah, but that's also weird too because that belt is less than a year old. Like it'll be 1 year old this July 4th.
It's not an old belt, but it was on the top guy who wasn't the world heavyweight champion there.
Good point. Yeah, it had a legit contender for a while, or a legit champion, I should say. And it's also had some legit opponents too, I should say. With it.
Exactly. It would be like, for example, Bret Hart holding the Intercontinental title and then dropping it to Dean Douglas. Or the Mountie. Hey, that did happen.
That did happen, yeah. Exactly. Syracuse, 1992. Google it. It was days before the Royal Rumble, so there we go. So the wrestler I think that's overrated, Morehouse, and this is just because Impact Wrestling just had their first pay-per-view of the year earlier this week as we record this. I still don't get what the buzz is with Eli Drake, and so and people are just, not only are they gobbling him up, but he has a passionate fan base. I found that out firsthand after posting the review of or my Nitros take of the review, I should say, and of the show. And man, I still don't get it. Like, he's a stud athlete, but he looks like he's about 10 years an athlete from 10 years ago. Like, he would be the guy that WWE would grab 10 years ago and immediately throw on SmackDown to feud with John Cena.
You mean the SmackDown Superstar Initiative?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay, yeah. That was a Teddy Long thing, wasn't it? I believe so.
The angle was Teddy Long, that they brought in the network guy, and then he's just like, we're going to bring all this talent. Who turned out to be just Florida wrestlers who weren't getting over.
Palmer Cannon, I remember him now. He was the guy that ran out of the company by JBL. So,
yep.
Yeah, there we go. But anyway, getting back to Eli Drake, I know he's holding their Feast or Fired, kind of their equivalent of the Money in the Bank right now for a world title shot whenever he wants. And so, spoiler alert, as earlier this week, as after Pentagon Jr. won the belt at the pay-per-view, Austin Aries came back and won it back. So now Austin Aries is a champion. You would think it's probably a matter of time that Eli Drake would get the Impact title shot, and they'll probably run with him for a bit as a champion because he's got Scott Steiner now as a tag team champion that he's alongside with, and he might be a decent move having an experienced, let's face it, wrestling Hall of Famer in Scott Steiner right alongside with Eli Drake, but I still don't get the gimmick. It's just dummy, yeah, it's no, we're not dummies. He's doing his job. Like I said in the review, then he must be doing his job, because I can't stand him and I hate watching him. But I think he's the most overrated talent that there is out there right now. And it's just like, okay, so and the fans out there, okay, so you're going nuts over a guy that was and resembles a wrestler from 10 years ago, but it's 2018. You got the Shinsuke Nakamura's and the name them, Johnny Gargano's and etc. of the world that are doing big things. Heck, even Switchblade Jay White to a point, that are doing the that's into like the strong style type stuff, and that's the thing that's in. And yet this guy is kind of championing the cause over on Impact, or one of the top echelon guys. But they've shored up their talent roster a little bit more House.
Yeah,
it looks a little bit better than it was even 6 months ago. So, and they got actually people that are running it that are I guess wrestling people that are decent wrestling people too. So
it's they're starting to. It's going to take a slow recovery, but they're starting to make strides. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Eli Drake was probably, hey, you're still here, I guess, and everyone else is gone, so here's a belt.
Yeah.